All right, we back. Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video. Appreciate the love and support, man. But let's talk about which is more concerning, the lack of running game from the Detroit Lions or the defensive line. And it was a question that asked on 97 Won a Ticket, and I was listening today. And 77% of people believe that the D-line will get back on track. In the 30 or 20 something, I think it was like 26% of the people didn't believe in the running game. So, in my opinion, it's the run game is more concerning, and also I think that it's going to be harder to fix as well. The reason I believe it's more concerning because the Lions haven't done it consistently year in and year out. Other than Reggie Bush having 1,000 yards and James Stewart having 1,000 yards, the running game, from what I remember, has been non-existent. It hasn't been consistent. And that's the one thing, from the Mike Marks system to the Linehan system to the Lombardi system to the Jim Bob Cooter system, all the way to the system we in now with Darrell Bevell, is a concern. They got an offensive run game coordinator last year. They were supposed to revamp the run game, revamp everything, and it hasn't happened. Now they bring in Darrell Bevell, a guy known for his success in the running game with Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson, and it hasn't happened. So, you look at it like, how can they correct it? And people say, what if this is the running back? Jabba Best, he had his chances. You know what I'm saying? He had his shine. Kevin Jones over the years, he just always looked for contact. Kevin Smith was solid, but we haven't had that bona fide 1,000 yards in, 1,000 yards out year running back. And in the league, now it's not about just rushing for 1,000 no more. Now you got guys, receiving for almost 1,000 a year now. But we need that consistent running game. Not only the running game helps the defense, it helps the offense. It helps, chewing up the clock. It helps preserve Matthew Stafford. It makes the windows bigger. It makes them put 7, 8 men in the box. So obviously it's something that Darrell Bevell isn't doing right. Obviously tipping your plays off by putting a tight end in or your alignment. So he has to run out of formations that he usually don't run out of. He has to run when his tendencies say that he's throwing. So they have to find some type of success in the running game. Now, last week, the Eagles was just a dominant run defense. The week before that, they should have had more success running versus the Chargers. Marlon Mack ran for 174 yards on them on 25 carries. So at this point, you got to think about it. Is it a personnel issue over the years? You had you replaced Jeff Backus with Riley Reef. You replaced him with Taylor Decker. You'd have had Goster Chairless. You'd have had Rick Wagner, Rob Sims. I said him, Larry Warford, Raiola, Swanson, Glasgow. Now you got Ragnow, who's rated as the top center or the top run center, then the second center in the league. You have to look at it. Is Glasgow getting traction at the guard position? Is Ragnow blocking good? Is Dale or Wiggins blocking good? So it may just be from a personnel standpoint. They're not running blocking good, but they pass blocking good. They didn't allow sacks over the last 2 games, but they got to get the running game going. It's way more concerning to me because when you start going out to Chicago and Minnesota, or Chicago in the winter, you go to Minnesota and you play those teams, you got to be able to run the ball with some success. And I don't know, they can't call trick plays every time, but Darrell Bevell was brought in here, in my opinion, because of his knowledge on how to run the ball, and he needed to figure that out. Is it Kerryon? Was it Anderson? Was it Blunt? Was it Zenner? They have to figure it out. How they can run the ball. But the defensive line, the reason why it's not as concerning to me is because historically the Lions have really pumped out great production from their D linemen. You know what I'm saying? And they have some good ones: Sue, Averill, Vander Bosch, George Johnson and Zeke Ansah, and you had guys like C.J. Mosley, Sean Rogers, and you had some really, really good dudes in there, man. If you go back, Corey Redding, Robert Porcher, Luther Ellis. You have some very, very productive pass rushers. So, and plus a lot of them dudes was injured. Daniels injured again with the foot. Deshaun Hand injured. Snacks Harrison, he sat out because he wanted to get paid, and they should have handled that before. He should already be in playing shape. Trey Flowers had the shoulder injury. Had a long playoff run. So at the end of the day, he's starting to heat up. I think he had 8 tackles. He had 4 solo tackles, 4 assist tackles. Let me correct myself the other day. And I think with Deshaun Hand get back, I think that's going to bolster the line back. Hopefully Mike Daniels come back healthy. They get a good rotation going. And I think everything will be A-okay there. And I just think their linebackers are playing well, especially Tavai. Tavai is playing well. Kennard playing well. They back end is, I think, tops in the league in passing or close or some type of statistical. They doing well. Everything else is falling into place that we didn't think. We had concerns about the back end. Rashad Melvin doing well. Justin Coleman, he doing well. Slade doing well. Tracy Walker doing unbelievable. Quadre Diggs doing what he doing. Tavai doing good. Davis still a little shaky, knocking the rust off, but he just going to suck in pass coverage, getting production out of Kennard. Jones playing well. So the whole defense is playing well, and it's kind of like last season we just thought the secondary was so much of an upgrade and ended up being a disappointment. So the front four, due to health reasons, they haven't been well. They haven't got any pressure, and they got some pressure last week with Flowers getting a sack, and he had 6 pressure. So now you got to get that pressure from the interior. Mike Daniels haven't really provided that. He did some good things. Hopefully he come back healthy off the other foot injury. But Deshaun Hand is the guy that can really provide that juice, even from the end position or that defensive tackle 3 technique position. So those things are correctable. We got a bye coming up, so especially this Sunday, we're gonna need both. We're gonna need both equally. We're gonna need to run the ball to really chew up the clock and throw my homeboy or Patrick Mahomes off his rhythm. I call him my homeboy like Shannon Sharp. Throw him off his rhythm, and we're gonna need to get after the passer and get him down. We're gonna need that push from the interior, and that's the quickest way. People talk about the Lawrence Taylors of the world and the Khalil Macks, Devon Millers of the world, and they great. But the quickest way to the quarterback is right up the middle. And, Reggie White, John Randall, Warren Sapp, that's why Aaron Donald, that's why those guys are so impressive. If you can produce 22 sacks last year, and Aaron Donald was double teamed 77% of the time or something like that, that's special. Because the quickest way to the quarterback is right up the middle. So we need that interior pressure. Our big fellas right now, without Daniels and Robinson and Harrison, they are pluggers. They are run stoppers. We need that pressure up the middle. If we can't create that pressure up the middle with 4, then you got to start sending. You got to start doing stunts. And then you got to start selling guys like Tavai and Davis to blitz. And you got to start compromising your coverage to get pressure there. And hopefully guys like Patrick Mahomes and their offensive line can't audible to pick up the blitz. So really, you need to get pressure with 4. And since Jim Schwartz, that's been the Lions' calling card. They just never really invested into or put the proper assets into the secondary and the linebacker positions, fully all at once. So with your secondary looking good and being healthy for the most part, your linebackers playing well, and I think Tavai solidifies that. I know he's a rookie, but he does. Your D-line do well. You might be looking at a perennial top 10 defense week in and week out. But also, your offense have to convert touchdowns. They have to be successful in the red zone, not just with field goals depending on Prater, but being successful in the red zone just doesn't fall on Matthew Stafford's shoulders. You have to run the ball in the red zone. If you don't run the ball, then we don't have to put 8 in the box in the red zone, and we could just rush 3 or rush 4 and stop your run game, or we just know you don't have confidence to run the ball. Then it's going to be tougher for Matthew Stafford to fit those balls in really, really tight and small windows to convert those touchdowns. So they have to run the ball, or they have to get creative in the passing game with their short passes, or they have to get creative with throwing the ball to Tyler Johnson and Kerryon Johnson like they do in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. So their running game is vital, and it's something that we haven't had week in, week out, year in, year out in Detroit. And if they can get that running game going, it's going to preserve the defensive line, and it's also going to throw the rhythm off of Patrick Mahomes this weekend. So it's very, very important. So, yeah, man, we need that run game. It's more important, but I trust that the D-line will be okay. It'll bounce back quicker, but the run game does have me concerned. But, hey, this was Daryl Bevell, was brought here and paid for to do. But don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to the email if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, or video request. Keep sharing the videos. Appreciate the love, support. In addition to that, don't forget to check out my other channel, Goodfellas Sports TV. That is Goodfellas Sports TV on YouTube. Talk music, sports, music, entertainment, all that stuff. I know I repeated myself, but hey, a little bit tired. But other than that, man, share the videos. Want to make a donation, that link subscription. Best way to help is share. Want One time for the one time Motor City Sports Talk. We go.